second location, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Are you feeling any type of... So I've been in this position, right? Of about to open a second location. Are you... Let me not even ask you that. How are you feeling about the second location?
So yesterday was the day I was like finally excited. I've been stressed the whole time.
Stressed.
Because like everything goes back to you. Everything's on your shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
Like you say you're going to do this. You hire more people. Oh, you're going to get more hours. Like everything falls back on your shoulders. So like it's a pressure. It's not just... I don't have that mindset of like, well, if we don't open up, like we don't open up. Like, nah, bro. Like this was our
deadlines.
This was our deadline to go. Like, look, we're going to figure it out. So it's cool. I just got approved everything today.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's like someone had saw the truck that was a Clark County investigator at Sam's where I park in Chinatown, you know. He came out pressing us for like, where's your special use permit?
Yeah.
The other...
Because to be used in that parking lot when it wasn't even being used there.
No. Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
So then I got to prove my Clark County license for my second truck today, and I asked them about it, and they're like, no, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, you don't need that. So
were you just testing it there?
No.
What were you doing?
Oh, no.
Why was it there?
No, that's like my original truck. So my original truck was there, and they asked about it, and I was like,
"Oh, got it."
I was like, "I've been open 3 years. Like, what are you talking about? Special use permit?"
He was thinking it was the new.
No, he just thought that you needed it. He didn't even know what he was talking about. So I was stressed out about that, and I found out today I don't need a special use permit.
Oh, so that's why you came in here swagging.
Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah, like
I thought you were gonna come in here and be like, Zach, we gotta get this out. I got 20,000 pounds of chicken I gotta smoke.
Everything is good.
Gotcha.
Everything's ready to rock. Like we licensed, we legal. Damn. That's the only thing is like you gotta. You know how it is in the beginning. You a renegade in the beginning. You doing stuff you're not supposed to do because you have to survive. You know,
and I want to talk about that a little bit because I was saying this earlier is that if you wait to get everything perfect, you'll probably never start.
Without a doubt,
I think so. What is your take on that?
I totally agree. The best time to start is now.
Whew.
And listen, in the food truck game. It is what it is. Like anyone that was in the beginning that told you they never prepped anything at their house is lying.
Lying. Straight lying.
Lying.
Yeah.
And like today we are where we are. Like everything is legit 100%. No one can come mess with our money. Like our operations are by the book, health districts, license, like the city, the state, everything. Yep. But in that beginning, dude, just start, figure it out.
Because it's discouraging with all the stuff that you do have to get as far as licensing and health department coming up there. And if you've never done that before, I mean, because I worked in a restaurant as a chef, right? And so when the health department came in, my perspective was just, okay, as long as I got dates on there and, I'm chilling. I got the right dates.
It's so much more.
I don't care. But now when the health department comes in, I got to make sure all my employees are washing their hands. Got to, making sure everything's on the right shelf, making sure, and I do that every day anyway. But there's still that PTSD when the health department walks in and for a split second. And then I realize and go, no, I came a long way.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
I'm good. I'm not worried. Before when I first started, I would follow them around to each little area just to be like, answer any, oh, that's only there because it's cooling. Oh, that. Now I just go, let me know if you need anything.
Yeah.
And it's such a great feeling, right?
100%. That's so funny. That's exactly like that.
And just a quick story was that when I did start in my backyard at first, I have bags of carrots. I've got boxes of broccoli. I've got all these big, large things. So I had food in my mom's refrigerator. I had food in my uncle's refrigerator, his house, and I had food in my refrigerator in my apartment. So every day before I would open, the day before when I prepped everything, I would go drop it all off. And then the next day when I was going to open, I'd go and pick it all up from each location. I'm talking like my mom lives on the east side. I lived a little close to her. My uncle lives on the west side. Like, so I'd have to go pick the food up because I didn't have storage, So
renegade, boy.
Renegade. We come from nothing, So this is the Rich Off Food Podcast. This is the Rich Off Food Podcast. We are interviewing and showcasing food truck owners, restaurant owners, real food bosses. And we got the most viral man in the world. I think in the world. I say in the world.
It's pretty popular.
Yes, not just Vegas anymore. My boy Guiliano from 303 in the Cut.
Yeah, man, good to see you. Thanks for having me out.
Good to see you as well, brother. I appreciate you. This is awesome. You've done a lot for me, man, and I hope that I could repay you somehow.
You've done the same for me.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that
without
means
a doubt.
And so on here, man, I just, not only do you have big things coming up, bro, this new truck is, God, bro, this new truck's about to be crazy for you, bro.
It's going to kill it.
Okay, so I have a question, right? How do I want to word this? Pop that thing. So us as restaurant owners, food truck owners, we have waves of business, right? Like we go viral, business goes up, then it comes back down, then it goes up, then it comes back down. How do you if any, have down days, how do you keep it up? So, like always, how do you do that? What are some I guess, strategies and tactics that you do to always keep your business at a fluid pace?
So it has been fantastic. It's been like 19 months of steady growth.
Wow.
Now, February is a slow month in general for everyone.
Yeah.
Sales went down a little bit, not dramatically, not to where it hurt. And same with October. October is a little slow in Vegas. It dipped a tiny bit, but nothing. And then each like progressing month, we keep having record sales. We just keep progressing up and up. So,
and that's not normal for a lot of restaurants.
I think because, so like the food influencers, right? Some of them have this perspective that they made the restaurants, right? They're like, hey, they are what they are. And like, and part of it's true because you have to have social media, right? So like me as a business owner, among the few, I make my own content. I don't pay anyone for anything. I paid for 3 in the beginning. I paid for Las Vegas Phil, Las Vegas Foodie, and Hooked, right? Brandon Las Vegas came and did it for free. Talls did it for free. And then eventually, Keith Lee came before he was famous, and that video blew up. And then all the influencers wanted to come do my stuff for me. But I was already thriving as a business.
Yeah.
So like if you can take care of your social media, which is not even the most important thing, it's just something that has to be consistent.
It has to be. Yeah. It's a necessity.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Guest experience is huge and top-notch product. Like your product is, anyone can make great food. That's the thing. There's so much great food everywhere. What's going to set you above? It's all about that guest experience. You want to like walk in somewhere and feel welcome. Like that's why like I love seeing you all the time, because it's just a vibe with you. You're always welcoming to whoever it is. You're like community like that. Like when you got us all together for all the new people that were starting businesses, like that's huge. People don't do that stuff. So I focus on those things, and most importantly, my employees. If I keep my employees happy, my guests happy, making money is a byproduct of that.
And so because you do that, right, do you find it easier to get employees? Because truthfully, that's what I hear all the time. It's like, where are you getting employees? And I feel like they just come and go. And
those are bad leaders. Those people aren't good at their job, without a doubt. Your number one concern should be your employee.
Yeah.
You answer to them without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Like, so I pay really well, and we treat them well. And that rings out. And then people want to bring their friends on. And then they're the biggest cheerleaders for you. Like when you got people that like are loyal because they see what you do for them. Yeah. So I've just been fortunate to have good mentorship in my life. But also I think who I am as an individual of wanting to help others and be kind and like compassionate. I think it's bled over to business, because money isn't the end all be all for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I need to make money. I need to provide for my family. Yeah. We all want to aspire to bigger levels, but like my most important thing is to like build a great company to work for. Right. Yep. And like, if you have certain values as an individual, they'll cross over to your business, to who you are. Yeah. And the people that work for you, you'll see. And you'll see the high turnover rate. People are like, oh, I can't keep knowing that I've done. I'm thinking,
you must be an asshole.
Like, well, what leaders lead from the front, bosses yell from the back, right? So you got to lead from the front.
And I 1,000,000% agree with you. I always strive every single day to be the best leader I can, because I've worked for bosses. I've worked for people like that, and I'm like, bro, I worked for guys that are making $100,000 a year, bro, and they can't even do my job, you know. And I always made sure that I can do every position to the best of my ability.
Yep.
I bring people up. I don't just, you know, when I have to tell somebody that they're doing something wrong, I always start with how great they're doing. Yeah. And then I try to teach instead of just scold, right? And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They just think if you just tell people what to do with no understanding, that they're just going to get it, right? I try to explain the reason why I'm telling them they need to do it a certain way. And I tell all my employees, I go, if you question anything that I say, please question it. And I would love to give you an understanding, so you're not sitting there going, oh man, why does Zach want to do it like this? It doesn't even make sense. Ask me. I'll gladly give you the answer.
And people don't think like that. Like people at the top sometimes don't think like that. They're just like tyrants in a way of like, yo, it's like this. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah. And you take it.
You know how many times I've done that exact thing, and one of my employees is like, almost every single time they're like, that makes a lot of sense. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it. I don't say anything for no reason. Yeah. Right. And so I do agree with you 1,000,000%. We need to be leaders in our companies, especially when it comes to food businesses. Right. Because right? It's good to keep somebody that's getting paid $100,000 a year, right? Like if I have an employee that's making $100,000 a year, he's not going to do no wrong, right? And these guys are providing for their family and all that kind of stuff, and we're trying to give them hours and value, and they could go get a job anywhere else.
Anywhere.
Right? I've had guys work for me for 2 to 3 years, 4 years, right? And that's the thing I get all the time. How do you keep these people? How do you get these people? It's not the people, it's the leader, and you put good out into the world, the good will come. Don't get me wrong. And you've probably have you ever had a bad employee? Have you ever had anything like that?
I've had quite
a bad apple, or however you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, you've had a few, and that will happen, and certain people will be at certain points in their life where it doesn't line up, where they're just not fit for the industry.
Yeah.
But so I have 30 employees now.
Wow.
And
it's incredible.
I think there's like 8 of them that have been with me for a long time.
Yeah.
Like a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what you said is perfect, dude. Attitude reflect leadership.
Yeah.
That's what that is. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when I don't know if the saying I'm saying is right, but it's when the boss is away, the mice will play. Have you ever heard something like that?
Yes, I have heard that.
Yeah, and so I don't mind the mice playing. I just want them to play and be on point.
Correct.
Like I want them to. The joke I always make is, when I'm not here, guys, don't think what Jesus would do. Think what Zach would do.
Yeah.
Okay. But I can only say that because they've seen what I do versus me just telling them. And do you feel like that's a great part of leadership?
I do. I think being able to get in there and be a part of it is still good. And I'm like at that basic building block still of a business, right? 2 locations. I'm not there like prepping anymore. I don't take orders anymore. I don't do stuff on the truck anymore. But like they see me like comb over stuff all the time. Like I'm in there catching stuff, paying attention to stuff.
You're the clipboard chef now.
Yeah, like I'm in there. I'm like, yo, what's up with that? Like, hey, like, do you have this ready?
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff, right? And same with being there at night and like interacting with the guests all night. Like I just walk the line and talk, right?
Yeah.
Either me or Mike or another one that works for me, Lauren. Someone's always doing that, right? And I think that shows a lot when I'm like, yeah, bro, I've been out here. Like it's cold. It's 38 degrees out here.
I'm here with you.
And I'm here, I'm bundled up and I'm going to talk to everyone all night. So it just shows a certain type of commitment, I think, because there's a lot of big companies you go work for. You're a number. Nobody care about you.
Well, that's what I was trying to say earlier. Yeah. It's like they could go work for any of these companies that, might have health insurance already and have benefits and everything. But what's going to set you apart from them to go work at an In-N-Out or something, right? Yeah. They're like, no, like I genuinely enjoy being here. Like they care about me.
And if you find out about your employees, like what makes them tick, what motivates them, like you can understand them as people and like you can come to that middle ground because you need to have good work-life balance. But I'll ask anyone that's worked for me. If they're trying to start their own business, this or that, that's the worst thing to tell me because I'm a pusher, bro. I'm pushing them every day. I'm like, bro, so what's the goal? What are you going to do? When you going to leave here?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I like working. I'm like, dude, you want to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Like, what's the plan?
You're slacking off
like,
here?
Let's get going. Like, I think you'll do great. Like, you're a great worker here. Like, so where are we going? Like, what's your plans? I'll help you in any direction, right? I want to see people do well. Yeah. And that's like what I want to that's a thing that's like dope where, I make entrepreneurs. I make executive chefs. Like that's who comes in and works with me. Like you're gonna learn so much. Get your clipboard. We going to school. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You got to teach your ass.
Yeah.
And I agree. I've had a few instances where 2 of my really good people, they come to me and like, hey Zach, I either want to start my own or another job did give me a better opportunity. Let's say in a hotel or something. And who am I? That's all about elevation and going up and bettering self to put a damper on that and be like, nah, like I'll pay you a couple dollars more. What's up? And don't get me wrong. I've had the conversation of like, well, let's negotiate what you think, this and that. Because obviously a lot of it too is like, I am a small business. So, I mean, hey, bro, if the hotel's offering $30 an hour, I mean, plus tips,
you got to provide for your family.
I can't compete with that, right? I can't compete with that. So, of course, I'll sit there and be like, well, what are they and this and that. But at the end of the day, if it's a better opportunity and they want to grow in their career, who am I to say you can't do that, you need to come work here or put a damper on that because that's what I want to do. I want to go up in my career, right? And so I agree with you, man. I have the same exact thing. And a lot of my employees, they tell me, in my past couple of years, like, yeah, I'm thinking about starting a food truck too, Zach. And then they see me under when I had a problem with my food truck, under it, on my back, in the middle of a rush, changing the propane, they go, Yeah.
I remember you telling me that exact
Yeah,
story.
I don't.
It was hot,
I don't
right?
think,
It was hot.
Yeah. And my food truck didn't drive, so I couldn't go and get propane.
Yeah.
And so what I would have to do before I realized that I could just get a long enough line to the back and put a propane tank there, I was doing the little 5 gallon. What are they? The small ones? Is it 5 gallon, 10 gallon? Whatever. I was changing those out. They only lasted 2 hours. I was open for 7. So every 2 hours we'd have a line. I'd have to go under, roll the tank under, go on my back on the asphalt, dog, that's been here since
hot.
the 70s, bro.
It's hot.
Well, and not only hot, getting up and my back's like itchy. I'm like, oh, I don't know what my back was just on, right? And so it's stories like that people don't see, right? Like you, for an amazing example, and I'll say guilty, but we post the great stuff, right? We post what's going on because we want the customers to come, and we don't want them to be like, oh, well, he posted 4 times that his propane tank didn't work. Let's not go because his propane tank might not be working. But those are the things that people don't understand when it comes to entrepreneurship. So I want to get into this because I want to ask you this question. We all know where you're at, right? Like we see you on social media and everything. You didn't start as let's say a cook. Am I right? Or a chef?
Nothing, bro.
Nothing. So this is where I'm like so fascinated because what makes you what did you start off as when in the food industry?
Front of house. Server. I was server, bartender.
And you would say like the servers, front of the house, back of the house, got a little beef going on, right? Like don't come back
they
here.
They never like each other.
Yeah, don't be taking fries off the fryer.
Unless you're a cute hostess, they never
Correct,
like.
Especially the guys. No way, right?
Yeah.
When were you like, I want to cook food and open my own business? Or was that even the first thought of when you wanted to open a business? Where was that switch for you?
So like, I was going to school for business management. This was after I had gotten sober. I was living in Prescott, Arizona at the time. And I was paying like half. My parents were helping me pay for school, and I was like paying for the other half. And we did a business management. I'm doing all my classes, knocking them out. They tell me, hey, you got to take a history class. And I was like, all right, well, can I just get an internship in town to count for the history class? And they're like, no, you got to pay for the history credit.
What kind of internship were you looking for?
Anything like in the food industry.
Okay, got it.
Just to count for a
yeah, because you're sitting here going to history class.
Totally thought that.
What the fuck?
They go, hey, no, it is what it is. Like you got to pay it.
It's a requirement. Yeah.
And I decided right then and there, I was like, I'm done with school. I'm not playing this game because that's a game. It's a fucking game. Mm-hmm. Now I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying I wasn't into playing that game anymore.
That situation.
Correct. So took a little bit, didn't know what I would do. I said, I'm going to go work for myself. I don't know what that means
yet. You were still working at the restaurant.
Yeah. Well,
while going to school?
Yes. I was working for like an Italian restaurant up there in Prescott.
Got it.
And one time then I decided, I was like, I love green chili. I bet a green chili concept in Vegas would kill it because there's no green chili out there, right? Then I moved to Scottsdale I got a better job, and then I was working multiple jobs down there. And so I'm like learning I was getting a job with a food truck company, so I'm learning how to do that.
Oh, okay.
And then I figured out, I was like, where do I want my life to be? Because whenever you're starting a business, have a vision of where you're going. In 20, 30, 40, 50 years, bro, don't look for the 1 year. Know where you're going. So I was like, gourmet drive-through concept. I'm going to be as big as In-N-Out and Chick-fil-A someday. Privately owned, not franchised. How do I get there? All right, I can't get a $2 million loan to build brick and mortar. You know what I mean? Work backwards. All right, a lot of successful things have been food trucks. Cool. So I'm going to do a food truck, the green chili concept like I'm thinking. And I was like, what do I want on my menu? I was like, so I had an idea what I want on my menu. And I said, fuck, I need to learn how to cook. I don't know how to do any of this stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I need to learn how to cook.
I spent I watched a lot of videos. I read a lot. I don't like to read. I'm like mildly dyslexic, so it's hard for me to process stuff. And all the chefs at my work, right? I would either make sauces and bring it in and ask about me, bro, at Kasai and Scottsdale. Ask how many times I made cornbread a week, how many times I made sauces a week. On days off, I would spend time with chefs and be like, yo, let's get this food. I need to learn how to make fried chicken. Teach me a couple ways to make fried chicken. I'll pay for it. We'll feed your family. We'll have a good night. We'll hang out. And I did that for free. I spent time in kitchens helping out, caterings, helping out for free because I wanted to learn. If you do something for free, you're going to pay attention a lot more. Like, don't get me wrong. I respect it if you're like, hey, I need to learn this. I'm going to go get a job and get paid, and that's going to be, I'm going to learn it from the bottom up. Great. Do it in your spare time. That's a whole different animal. And I was going full board. So you asked me how to, like, cook you a salmon, lobster, bisque thing. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. But, like, what I make on our menu, I spent a lot of time on it. with
Wow.
professionals.
So that goes to show a lot because, you coming into the food game, it's easy to be like, well, he's not even a chef. Like, he's not even a cook. What is he even doing in this space, right?
Yeah.
Like, because that's, I would say 90% of food business owners have worked in a restaurant.
Oh yeah,
Would
like
you
back
say?
at house, like they're all chefs.
At
or they're-
least I would say even maybe 95%, right? And you not maybe you didn't have this thought, or maybe you did, of like, I can't just go into the food game and I won't be respected.
Oh, I didn't care.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
give a fuck.
Got it. Well,
I didn't.
I just mean, like, you must have had some type of thoughts where it's like, no, I need not only to cook, because there's a lot of people that are chefs and have food concepts that are like, they don't care as much as you though, right? And so I think that says a lot about you, that you're willing to learn and willing to, because you got to, what is the saying? You got to be the best to beat the best. And so when something like that, right? And so when well that's my thing too, is right, like I have a mentor in this hibachi game, and I don't train with him as much as I'd like to, but I know, like, yes, you could sit here and put me like, oh yeah, Zach's doing his thing, but I still am learning, right? And so you realize that, no, there's a lot I got to learn.
Always, every day.
Yeah.
If you're not striving to be better, you'll be complacent, and someone's gonna pass you every day, right? They talk about, oh, hard work, this and that, and motivation, bro. Discipline.
Yeah.
Like,
ooh, that's
bro,
good.
if you just never stop, bro, who's gonna beat me? I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah.
Like, you gonna catch up with me?
Yeah.
That means you ain't watching football on Sundays.
Yep.
That means you ain't taking weekends off. That means
Vacations.
you're answering emails after 5 p.m. That means 11 p.m. you're answering phone calls. And if you don't do that, all the stuff I do is gonna
you're
compound.
Not even gonna touch.
Yeah, it's gonna compound over time.
Yeah.
And like you said, you got to be willing to learn anything. Because if I go in there with a big head of like, I'm the best, this and that, I'm not. But I'm willing to learn anything, and I'm willing to just not stop. There's a difference. Like, there's a lot of people, dude, in the professional world that you start to deal with that do not answer any emails or texts on the weekend, won't do X, Y, and Z. And I realize, like, oh, that's why you are where you are professionally or as a business. And like, I'm gonna surpass you by far.
And you have been consistent for what? How many years now?
3. We're like, we're almost to our 4th.
Almost to your 4th year. And so obviously the consistency, it works.
Yeah.
Right. The grit. Right. So when you were like, hey, I learned all these, recipes and everything like that, when were you like, I'm going to go get a food truck? Or did you even think food truck is first, or what?
Yeah, I thought food truck was first.
Step?
When I knew I couldn't get an SBA loan for like a gourmet.
Got it. You did say that, the $2 million, you knew a food truck, but did you start like cooking the food before a food truck and selling it?
No.
Got it.
No.
So you got the food truck.
Yeah, I went full in. Like, I was working 3 jobs, stacking my own capital, working 6-7 days a week. Normally 6, but when I could pick up a 7th, I would do a 7.
Wow.
And I would just stack money. And I went all in, dude. I went dead broke, like starting my business. Dead broke.
And so I know that that's what it takes, right? But for the people that might be listening, I need you to really drill it in their head, bro, that it takes a lot of sacrifice. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. Like, a lot of entrepreneurs, I mean, it sounds messed up, but, will sacrifice marriage, because they're not taking weekends off and stuff like that. How do you balance your family life?
Jeff Bezos said it best. You don't balance, you harmonize. That's what it is. And like, it's all. The main question is how successful you want to be. Yeah. My goals are big. Yeah. And it's going to take a lot to get there. Yeah. And luckily I have people on my side, my family, my girl, like, we're all on the same page of where we're headed, right?
That's amazing.
Billion-dollar concept. That's where we're headed. Yeah. I'm going to say it out loud. I'm going to manifest. I'm going to speak it into existence. I believe it. I'm not afraid to say that shit out loud. Maybe it takes me 40 years to get there, 30. Yeah. That's where I'm headed. $1 billion concept, privately owned, never franchised, multiple states, distribution centers, on that level. Like, because I know exactly where I'm going, and that's how I structured this business to go, and that's where I'll get. So if you're in that lane, if you're in that type of mindset, you know what it takes. Oh, yeah. Like, you got to look beyond, like, it's just, if you have a business and you're making money, you're like, how can I maximize this more? How can I grow this more? And my thoughts are like, how can I make a business so good that I can make the people around me be like, bro, this is the best money I ever made. That's the best feeling. Like, my people that work for me, bro, they're on track to make a lot of money this year as food trucks. You know what I mean? Like, like a lot of money.
That's different.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of like, how successful do you want to be? Me, I want to be successful, and it's the hardest thing. that my goals don't have to be everyone else's goals. My ambitions don't have to be everyone else's. Like, if you are happy and you're making money and providing for your family, bro, you won the game. You already won. So there's no need to go where I'm going.
I see that a lot, right? Because, you know, people like me and you, I want the biggest company in the world as well. Maybe second biggest right next to yours. You know what I mean?
Well, me and you have talked about our goals privately.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
And I see a lot of people that, you know, because, you know, this is the Rich Off Food podcast, right? And Rich Off Food means something completely different to everybody. Like you just said, some people just don't want to work for someone else. That's their Rich Off Food.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you could do that and pay your bills,
yeah,
who cares?
Yeah.
That's as long as you're happy at the end of the day, bro. That, like you said, that's amazing. But in the beginning, people have like the misconception of like, I'm gonna go work for myself. Like,
I'm gonna take days off.
You're working every day in the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
There's like, I missed so many birthdays, holidays. Like, I was so broke that I couldn't buy no one birthday presents. Couldn't buy my son a present. Like, there was sacrifice to get where I am. And like, it's not for me to like say that out loud and say boo-hoo, that was my choice. But people think that things are like easy and like, oh, you're so lucky for the success. Like, bro, I'm 5 years ahead of you. Like, we're in different places. Like, when you were taking weekends off, when you were drinking on the weekends, when you were going on 6 vacations a year, I was stacking money working towards this, you know? So,
and that's the crazy part too, because I actually started my business with all my friends.
Really?
All of them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when I first started, it was called Backyard Hibachi. And so it was in 2019. And let's just say a little short version of the story is they're not around anymore. Because I started to realize that where I was going and where I was headed, I couldn't smoke as much weed anymore. I couldn't drink as much beers. I started reading. Bro, I'd get roasted from my homies from reading, bro. Like, I basically had to turn into a nerd, right? Like, I was straight edge, you know? I would even smoke CBD because I was addicted to I wanted to hang out with them and smoke. But I didn't want to, I couldn't be high because I had to wake up early the next day and I had to focus, right? And so then my mindset, and you've probably had this too, starts leveling up. And so now I'm starting to, and it sounds kind of messed up, but I'm starting to view everybody in a different perspective because I'm like, and I'm trying to help these guys, right? I'm like, hey, I'm having team meetings with them and this and that. I'm like, hey, let's, you know, maybe smoke a little less, this and that, right? And they kind of just started being like, oh man, who does Zach think he is, bro? You know, he's waking up early, going to the gym, this and that. He thinks he's this, you know, buff guy, all this and stuff like that. And I say that to say, you know, as you were leveling up in your business, and I know you came out here, did you have any support from friends or family in Vegas or at all?
So when you get sober, they tell you surround yourself with winners. I still do that today. I surround myself with heavy hitters. Like I surround myself with people who are on a level that I aspire to be. All my friends and family supported me. I moved to a city where I didn't know anyone. So I grew up here through high school to my early 20s. And I moved to Denver, and then I moved to Arizona to get sober, right? So I hadn't been back here for like 9 years. I moved to a city where I didn't know anyone, put my back against the wall, and just had to build from the ground up. Different. Yeah, so like you had to build relationships with people. You had to do that kind of stuff. And you are exactly right. Like, if you look at your friends, if you look at your social circle of who you talk to, who you run with on a normal basis, it'll show you where you're headed. You know what I mean?
I agree 100%. You know, it'd get to the point where, you know, we're in this backyard, right? And we're cooking and all the friends were coming. It's cool. We're smoking and cooking at the same time. But then we started getting real customers. Like real people were coming because we were getting traction on social media. And so I would be like, hey, homie, let's not smoke a cigarette while you take orders anymore. Bro, like, I thought that was common sense shit, dog, right? Bro,
that's funny, though. That's hilarious.
They gave me, like, who does Zach think he is, this and that. And I started to notice, and maybe you did the same, too. I want to ask you this as well. But I started to notice that I would go hang out, and I would hear stories from, like, I was always invited to the hangouts, right? Like, I was always the first one to get called. But I started realizing, like, these are stories I'm hearing, and I wasn't at this hangout. So they started slowly distancing themselves from me. Yeah. Did you have any type of stories or scenarios like that you'd like to share?
I don't have any like that. So, like, since I got sober, I have a good squad of dudes that, like, most of us are entrepreneurs. Our other ones are just in kind of big corporate jobs right now. Yeah. And so I didn't have anything of that experience when that happened.
Yeah. Gotcha. No worries. I mean, everybody's different, you know.
Sobriety, though, for sure. Yeah. Getting sober, for sure, because I'm not getting high.
Well, and it's funny because I never even used the term sober before. I'm just like, I just stopped smoking weed. But then, you know, I'm being sober. I haven't drank or smoked in at least 2-3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I just because I had to put it down because, like I said, bro, I'd stay up till 2 in the morning working on my business, get up at 5, 6 a.m., bro, and bro, I don't know if I'm smoking 3-4 blunts at night, bro. There's no way I'm getting up at 6 a.m. So it started to become like hindering my priorities, and that's when I was like, I was the kind of guy that I was like, man, I'm smoking weed to the deathbed, you know, I'm gonna be smoking it in the hospital. And I just realized that how much, and I like the term sober, and I'm gonna actually start using that because you're saying it, because I am sober, right? And it's cool that I can, and it's funny because I used to look at people that were sober as like, so this guy, you know, but then it's cool to see that, nah, cool people are sober.
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna surpass everybody.
Yeah.
Watch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look where I'm at, like, because I just keep going every day.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, focused like that. But you could do it. Don't get me wrong. There's people that, like, smoke weed and drink and do stuff. That's fine.
I don't think so.
But that's just not me.
Yeah.
And, like, where I'm headed.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm trying to be a high-level player. You know what I mean? So, like,
and I'll be honest, man. I've been in a few rooms, a few big rooms, and I don't see anybody. I see sipping on champagne a little bit, you know, but smoking weed? Nah. I feel like the more it became legal, the less I smoked.
Yeah, I saw that for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just a balance thing, dude. Like, it depends what your priorities in life. How successful do you want? It always goes back to that question.
I love that.
How successful do you want to be? That's the basis of your answer. Oh, well, you know, I want to live a good life and this and that. Cool. Like, bro, I'm multiple states. Like, I'm trying to be on that heavy hitters.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. I'm on the same path. You're not alone, bro.
Yeah.
Right? And you know that.
But people think you're crazy. Like, when I say this stuff out loud, people, like, scoff at me and, like, look at me.
I say I want 100 restaurants, and everybody's like, oh, you know, you get the 2 first.
Dude, well, 100.
I'm like, well, if I get to 100, I hit 50. At least I didn't say I want 2, and I get 2.
You need, like, you need goals like that.
Yeah.
You do. You need dreams. Like, so anyone that's in your life that, like, shoots down dreams and aspirations like that, you don't need them in your life.
Oh, no.
Because I've been saying it out loud that I was going to change the game of drive-through before. I said before the food truck opened, I was serving tables. I remember, like, I was like, yo, 303, the name's going to ring out in Vegas for sure. This concept is going to kill it. The idea of this menu, and if the food is fire all the way through, I'm like, bro, this concept is going to kick off. I know it. I believe it. And then here we are. And it's funny. You get people who are like haters and this and that. You know, people used to tell me, dude, like, Vegas is going to chew you up and spit you out. You'll be back, like, you'll be back in Arizona, like, soon enough.
That?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, they said
that just happened in movies, bro.
No, it was a real thing.
Yeah,
it was a real conversation I had with one guy at a wedding.
Your life is a movie, bro, and it will be.
Thank you so much. And, you know, people told me it was a stupid concept and Vegas would never work. And, like, it didn't matter. I wasn't scared of failure. I was like, I'm going to jump off this cliff anyways. Like, who are you to tell me what? Like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm a winner. Winners figure it out no matter what. So it's not from a place of arrogance. It's from a place of confidence. And, like, I just want to, like, share that with people. I'm like, dude, believe in yourself. Like, however big your dreams are, fucking go after it. Just say it out loud. Don't be scared to say it. Anyone laughs at you, scoffs at you, that don't mean shit. Put your head down, nose to the grindstone, and let's go. Get your mind right.
I think if they say stuff, it's easier because then you can weed them out because they show their true colors.
Without a doubt.
You know, a lot of people are fake.
Yeah.
You know, and be like, Zach's doing his thing, you know.
And, like, when you told me what your vision for your concept is, the first thing I said was just like, yeah, dude, that's totally possible. Yeah. Without a doubt. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, get it, bro.
But look at all the things that have happened of what they are today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, multi-$100 million concepts built from one thing, one time. If you focus on one thing long enough, you'll build it so big and so strong, be a working machine.
Wow, that is powerful. That's so true. I believe anything and everything that you're saying because I think the same exact way. And to all the entrepreneurs out there, you know, the food entrepreneurs, right? Because this mindset is directed to all types of entrepreneurs, right? But this is mainly for food entrepreneurs. The common theme that I've been getting these past podcasts and everything, and what I talk to people is basically, you know, just start. Yeah. Don't be scared. It is going to be scary, but you just have to be confident. Figure it out as you go because that's what builds you as well. Like now, it's to a point where, bro, the littlest things, dog, that would stress me out 3 years ago, bro, I just run right over them, bro. I'm like, dog, or my employees will stress out, and then I have an answer for it right away. That's another thing, too, right? I wouldn't have had these answers to issues and be able to solve them so fast if I didn't already go through it.
Yeah, and it was way stressful at that time, right?
Oh, my God, dude. I thought the world was going to end.
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, perfect example, like the health department, right? Like when they first would come in, and I wasn't necessarily on point with all my stuff. I'm stressing out. I'm this. I'm that. Now I tell my employees, I train them on where to put things in the refrigerator, so that, and if they ask me, hey Zach, why do we put the chicken on the bottom? Well, let me pull this chart out and show you exactly why, because this is what the hell. Ah, that makes sense. When 3 years ago, I'm like, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
This is
You're
just what they
supposed to go
say, bro.
there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is what I've heard.
Just stack it right. Dude.
Yeah, and it's been times, right? Like I've had the health department in my food truck before, plenty of times. That's another thing too. I wanted to get a tour of your food truck the other day, right? And fortunately, time slipped away because I just, your food truck is what, 14 feet?
12. 12. Oh, the new one's 20. The old one's 12.
12 feet, bro?
Yeah.
So that's where I came into an issue in my truck, right? My truck was 16 feet, and I feel like I didn't have enough room. How do you do it in 12
it's
feet?
Wild.
Bro?
It's fucking wild.
How much do you have a lot of refrigerator space?
Yeah, I got a low boy. I have a big refrigerator, reach-in freezer, and if we have to, we leave and get more stuff.
Really?
Yeah, we stack to the max. Like thing. It's crazy what we pump out in that truck.
That's what's mind blowing to me because of the lines that you have, the amount of food, right? So a lot of for me, if anybody's watching that doesn't know who I am, I sell hibachi, teppanyaki food, rice, noodles, all that. The bulk of the stuff that would take up my room is the pans of rice, the noodles, the pans of vegetables, the protein,
which is
bro.
a lot. I mean, that's a lot.
Well, I was going through 400 pans a night.
What?
Of rice? Yeah, on the food truck.
What?
Yeah.
Yo, that's gnarly, dude.
I was giving away too much, is what I to be honest, bro.
Bro, that's a lot. That's
because
huge.
I do the same numbers now with like maybe less than half, and I'm like, oh, I was wild, but that's how we start.
You learn.
I learned. Well, and then also too, and this is another thing I want to touch on, right? I see other concepts. Yeah, let's go into this. I like this. I see other concepts giving away a lot of food, giving away big portions. Right. And then they might come to me and be like, oh, Zach, this guy's portions are smaller. I'm like, yeah, but the owner still works in it. So he doesn't have to pay somebody to do his job. My portions have gotten smaller because I've got more overhead. I have to come portion control a little bit more. Right. When I was working, yes, I was getting paid, but I could get paid minimal. Right. But now when I'm paying somebody and I have to, shell out this money, I can't be giving away food like that. I have to be more strategical when it comes to portion control. What is your thought on that?
So for me, our portions are a good size, but we're also not cheap, right? Like you're not going to come in my food truck and get anything for $4, We don't do tacos, we don't do sliders or anything like that. We have a stellar product. The same stuff they do in the steakhouses on the strip, we do in our kitchen. Mm-hmm. You have to pay good people good money to make a good product. If you don't like my prices or what we serve, I understand. Our price point isn't for everyone. Go to McDonald's. Go to Wendy's. Like, you'll be fine. Powerful. Like, I'm not... I realize I can't cater to everyone. I can't make everyone happy.
Yeah.
Because never once do we get complaints about our portion size, right? We just get complaints about the prices. That's it. Mm. But if you've been to Carbone inside the Aria, right?
Stop it.
They talk about the lemon cheesecake, right? It's like $21 or something, I think. Okay. My cheesecake,
one slice.
My cheesecake is $16.50. It's huge, and it's better than that lemon cheesecake. Oh, yeah. The lemon cheesecake is garbage at Carbone. Now, carrot cake's fire, so I'm not talking shit on Carbone. I'm not talking shit on Carbone. Like it's
lemon cheesecake sucks.
It's great. Yeah. Yes, but that's the point. Like, I'm like, if you have been to these high-end places and you've tried food, like, and you know how much it is on the strip, and then you see the quality that we make and the price, you're like, bro, this is fair. This is super fair. That's because that's the other thing is, we're at a point people are money conscious and this and that, and that's totally fine. But like, we are doing something where we're creating a great product and we pay our people really well. If that's not something you want to support, I totally understand. We're not in everyone's budget, This
is very discouraging, right? Yeah. For newer food entrepreneurs, right?
It's hard.
When customers are like, oh, your prices are too high or your portions aren't enough. And then they're sitting there scrambling on what to change or if they should even change anything, right? Like, what is some advice that you would give to somebody in that situation?
First off, let's give like the whole view of what it is. Okay. Mm. People talk about, well, why is your chicken sandwich this much? Why is that? For a place that has one restaurant or a new concept in general, right? if you go look at the prices that you get from
Ooh,
Business Costco, Restaurant Depot, it's okay, but it's pretty expensive, right?
Yeah.
If you're a new person with Cisco or US Foods and you're not a large account, it's even more expensive than those.
I agree.
And those get delivered. Those are like convenience for you. When you're so busy entrepreneur, at some point you're like, dude, I can't go to Costco anymore and get 30 boxes of fries.
Yeah.
So you end
to
up
show up on my front doorstep. Yeah.
Yeah. So like these people have this misconception. Like Chick-fil-A has their sandwich at what it is because they buy hundreds of thousands of pounds. So they have such a sweet contract deal that it's very cheap. That, you know, like In-N-Out makes their own burgers. They have their own distribution centers. Like that's how they're able to charge what, $3.99 for a burger? That's unheard of. Yeah. So people have this thing of like, oh, food trucks used to be cheap and like this, and you guys are robbing us. I'm like, you have to understand the position we're in and like what we buy our food for. Like, it's not the same that these big concepts that have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 locations. You have 5 locations in Vegas. You get your price cut dramatically, and they don't lower their prices. They stay the same. It is what it is, and that's fine. That's business. But like, so for the new people, like, don't be discouraged. Like, have a great product, have great service, charge what you have to charge to make a profit. You're in a business to make a profit. No one's going to help you with your bills. Your old employer's not going to call you, ask if everything's okay. Do what you have to do to survive.
Yeah.
Like, competition weeds out the weak. So I never feel like, yeah, it sucks that businesses close and this and that, but I'm like, what, did you do everything to keep your business open?
That's another thing.
Yeah.
You know, people always try to play victim, right? And it's like, I saw this one thing. It was basically saying, you know, in a business, you know, people sit there and go, is it my marketing? Is it my product? Is it my customer service? Like we keep talking about, which is the theme of everything. It's a melody of everything. And you can't just focus on one thing. You have to harmoniously focus on them all at the same exact time. And it's a crazy balancing act, right? Because I sit there all the time and go, man, am I slow because of my marketing? I'm like, well, maybe. But is it my customer? I don't know. But you need to be working on that all at the same exact time.
And you have to care through and through.
Mm-hmm.
My goal isn't to like build another food truck and then build a drive-through and like sit back and chill. That's just not how I like tick as a person. Bro, I want to like perfect something and like build it so good and make sure all my people make such good money and just grow it as big as I can. You know what I mean? Like my goal isn't to just sit back and chill and not pay attention. Because that's what happens is you get places that like don't pay attention. Like I went in this place the other day. I'm not going to say where. Food was pretty good, right? No guest experience. No one welcomed us when we walked in the door. Floor was dirty. It's dirty where you get like the limes and stuff like that. And then to me, I'm like, I don't know if this place is going to last because they don't care. No one's paying attention to the details. Like if the owner's there, bro, you should be out there cleaning or training your managers to watch all that
Lead by example.
Yeah. So, I mean, but what you've done over the time is like, it took a lot to get there and it takes even more to stay there. Yeah. That's the other thing where like we blew up and we're busy, bro, we 18 months of busy. Like that doesn't happen out of luck.
No,
we're
at
like,
all.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's the hard work. It's the long hours.
Yeah.
And so, no, dude, you are dropping nothing but gems, bro. I love everything and I agree with everything, right? That's the whole point. I do have a couple more questions before we go. You know, as you're starting to scale, as you're, you know, expanding, how important are basically SOPs, right? Operating procedures. Do you write them down? Do you just repeat yourself a million times? What's your...
So I definitely used to repeat myself all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to get out of that.
It is... You want to build something so good for your employees that hypothetically you could take this manual of how to run your business, give it to some stranger, and they could do 80% of it right the first try. That's what I was taught.
Oh, okay.
I'm not fully there, but I have a handbook. I have the way we do stuff. I have operating for opening and closing the food truck, you know, like closing the commissary, opening everything. And
do you, I don't mean to cut you off, but is this posted somewhere or do you send it just on a PDF file on your phone?
Both.
Got it.
So it's both. It is posted.
I'm actually asking this for myself, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, viewers are going to get value, but this is for me.
You have to have that. Like SOPs are so important. That's how you're going to scale. That's how you're going to replicate what you're doing.
Yeah.
And without that, it won't be like anything. Because people are surprised when they get hired by us. They're like, I get this manual.
Well, they just see
and
this food trailer, bro, and not to diss on the food trailer, right? But that's what they see. They see
it's small.
Food, yeah,
it's so small.
And then you get in here, this dude's running it like a corporation.
We try to do like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still care about my employees. Like we're cool with like people requesting off, this and that. Like people have family stuff happen. We're never like, if you leave, like you're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, go handle what you're going to
Yeah.
handle. But yeah, dude, like we are organized to the fact of like where I'm headed, I should organize and structure now. So SOPs for like when you're first starting out, you're going to learn and it's going to change and you're going to adapt and you get in this like routine. And you're like, okay, we're going to always do this way. This is how chicken is always going to get trimmed so that you don't get some new person in just doing whatever. And then you lose 3 hours a week of labor because that plus payroll taxes over the whole year, that shit adds up.
Started.
Yeah. So all kinds of stuff. Same with like, hey, we're always going to mix the sauce this way. You're going to mix all the ingredients before you add the mayo. Like, period. There's no, because things, everything could be caught up and done wrong. SOPs.
Recipes.
Very important.
Okay, my next question. Do you give the employees the recipe or how does, because I know some people that are like, I'm the only one that makes this batter, or I'm the only one that puts the seasonings together, and then they just can use it. Because actually, a story I watched, have you ever seen the Foods That Built America?
No.
You ever seen that show?
No.
You don't got time to watch TV. I watched it for a little bit, but it was Mrs. Fields cookies. She didn't want to give the recipe to her employees, so what she would do is she would basically, and she did this by hand at first. Of course, she grew and packaged everything, but she would just basically give them a bag with everything in it. No, just the labels of what to do once they get the bag. So what's your take on that? Because I'll sit here and I'll tell you, this is my take, right? I go, you can take all my recipes. You ain't going to do it like me. You can take all my recipes you want. I want you to not only work as hard as because it's not just the recipe. Like we've been saying this whole entire time. I go, take the recipe. Let's go, because I've had it happen before, right? I've had my friends when we first started. When I left, or they kicked me out, whatever. Yeah. They tried to do the food. They were like, the real chefs are in town. Bro, they didn't last 2 months. And that was my thing was, go for it, right? So what's your take on that?
Same as you.
Got it.
I remember my mentor told me this, and you can take all of my recipes. You can park your food truck right next to mine. You will never recreate what I ever did.
Oh, my
So
God.
go ahead, do what you got to do, because the experience that we create, what I've created, but you haven't done all the stuff we did. Yeah. It's not just about recipes. Like if food businesses survived and thrived just off recipes, there'd be so many successful places.
Correct.
And so, dude, you're exactly right. I have
Yeah.
that same thing. So they have it. Listen, they want to steal and go use it anywhere.
Go for it.
The only way you're gonna beat me is if
Good
you
luck,
don't
buddy.
stop.
Yeah.
And I'm 5 years ahead of you.
Because you're not competing with me on my recipes.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You're gonna compete with yourself, and the question is, are you gonna stop? Because me, I'm not stopping. I ain't stopping for shit.
I love that.
Like, let's go. You
Yeah,
know, get your mind right.
Ready for war. I look at this as war. I wake up every day. War, boxing match. I always say I wake up every day and I'm like, what punches are gonna get thrown? I'm ready to take on anything and I'm eating them all.
100%. It's like, like what? How successful you want to be? Get your mind right and let's go there.
I'm a firefighter, bro.
Putting out fires every day,
all day long.
So I call when they ask, like, technically whatever. I'm the president of my corporation, this and that, right? I always tell them, I'm like, oh, I'm a custodian.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm the custodian of 303. I look after 303.
I just clean up all the messes.
I'm the custodian.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible that you could say that, right? Because a lot of people that own businesses and are as successful as you, chip on the shoulder a little bit, like, I'm the owner. I'm the owner. And yes, obviously, we're the owner. But for you to even say that, right? Like, I get people all the time. I had somebody the other day, a DoorDash driver, bro. He's supposed to take the order, right? And I am in the back peeling shrimp just because we were down a guy. I pulled up, help him out, right? And so I know that he was waiting for the order, and I knew the order was done. And I looked through the curtains, and the guy's still standing there. I go, yo, what's going on with the order? Oh, the guy said he wants to watch me make the rice. No. So I give him the order. I go, hey, here's your order, man. He goes, oh, do you do this too? Nah, man, I just work in the back. Take the food and go.
Correct. Because people ask me, I work here.
Yeah.
Are you the owner? I'm like, I work here. And
sometimes I don't even care to correct people. Oh, you work at Hibachi House? Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah,
I do.
Because the cool thing is I get recognized at the airport a lot.
That's incredible.
It feels awesome.
That's
like,
cool.
Because they're like, now they either recognize me or they're just like, is that food truck? Is that a food truck? I'm like, you heard about it.
Yeah.
They're like, you work there? I was like, I do work there. And then we talk and I give them a card and they see the card and they're like, oh, this is your place. And I'm like,
my gosh. The last private party I just did, lady goes, because I have a guy that basically he's my business partner. He's the one that facilitates all the stuff and does all the back end stuff. That's why our partnership works very well, right? He facilitates that. I do all the front of the house, make sure everything's going right. And she tells me, she goes, "Man, Paul, I'm gonna let him know that you guys exceeded my expectations, and can I request you as the chef every single time?" I go, "Yeah, you definitely can. I'm gonna tell Paul you did an amazing job. Thanks, appreciate that." And so now our running joke is, I call him, I tell him, right? He goes, "Yeah, man, you know what I'm gonna tell her?" I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, man, he was almost out the door.
So he was almost fired.
He was almost fired. Like this saved his." And we're dying laughing, bro. And I go, "I love it." I go, I don't care. I'm very humbled, bro. I do not care." And so that's amazing that you can even do that, because not a lot of people can, right?
Like, I don't see it. Like, it's cool. People want to take pictures with me in the truck and do this. Like, that's dope. But like, I'm not in this for fame. I'm not in this to be written about. I'm not in this for my recipes to be known. I'm not here to be called chef. Like, bro, I'm here to build a great company. And like, along the way,
that stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah. And I'm only successful because of my mentors and my employees. You know what I mean? I'm just the driving force behind it. Yep. If I didn't have the guidance from mentors and I didn't have the people backing me, I wouldn't be where I am. So like, I hate people who say they're self-made millionaires. Like, bro, you ain't shit. Yeah. Like, you got a mindset like that already. You did everything by yourself. You did every single thing. Bro, you so full of shit. Like, you know what I mean? So I just come from a different mindset that like, I didn't do this alone. I'm here because of who helped me along the way. Like, you know what I mean?
I texted my employee the other day that stole money from me, right? Yeah. Like he worked for me for 4 years at the beginning of my food truck, and I just texted him and just said thank you. Yeah. Said nothing else. Just said thank you, because it's true. Like, thank you. Like, you, regardless of how the end turned out, bro, you helped me. Yeah. You did. Yeah. The petty $800, it is what it is. It just cost me $800 to get rid of you. Right.
Well, so it's like my first employee. Her name is Pollyanna. She's now a managing partner at the Meat Wagon in town. Right. She worked for me, bro. It was me and her by ourselves. She would prep desserts. She would do all the prep and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't be where I am without her. Like, she's part of my journey. She got a way better offer to go work for the Meat Wagon and like become an owner of the place, bro. I couldn't beat that. So like, I'm gonna wish her on her best, and I have to look at it as a whole of like, bro, she's part of my journey. I would like, it's beautiful as it was, and we still have a really good relationship today. We're actually just texting each other this morning.
That's awesome.
Like, that all that stuff goes into play of like what you're saying of like, I don't try to be like, oh, I'm so humble, but like, if you're just a good person and you put out good things to the universe, like you want to look at it as God, the universe, whatever, bro, it's gonna come back around. But you got to do it without some sort of motivation in your back pocket. Like, I'm gonna help this person because it's gonna help me. Yeah. No, bro, just help people to help people. Just be kind to be kind. Just like do things for other, do things for other people to do it. And that makes you a better person in general. Because I never do shit out of motivation in the back of my head, like, this is going to benefit me. And all the relationships I have in town are natural. Mine and yours relationship, all the influencer relationships that I have with, they're natural. Because I don't force anything, and I don't ever do anything in the back of my head of like, oh, I'm going to get something from this guy someday. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, what's your name? Oh, cool. Nice to meet you. And then you get to talking and look at the relationship we have today. Yep. You do shit for the community all the time. So whenever you call, I drop what I'm doing, and I like, dude, I'll be in town. Brother. I'll make sure I'm there. Because I love how you do that. Not everyone is community driven. If you put community first, your employees and your guests, and have a good product, and you in the food business, bro, you're going to thrive and make a fuck ton of money.
You heard it here first. Community, baby. That's right. How we're doing it.
That's right.
So we said a lot of amazing things, bro. You are an incredible person and an incredible friend as well. I do have one more question before we go. I just want to know, this is the Rich Off Food podcast. What does rich off food mean to you?
Rich off food. Bro, you like, it's one thing to cook at your house and like feed people. Like your mom does that, your grandma does that, and that's like nostalgic. And if you can create that same nostalgic feeling for someone, that's the best feeling, right? Like someone is like, bro, this is like how my grandma used to make this shit. Is fire. Like, oh, my aunt makes cheesecake just like this. Like, yours might be better, but I ain't going to tell my aunt.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that. We'll keep this between us.
Bro, to me, that makes me happy. You know what I mean? Or my employees like, yo, this food is so good. I love working here. I'm proud to work for 303. Like, that makes me wealthy. Like, that, like, it's like getting sober. Like, my life is enriched. I'm extremely wealthy today, and I'm not talking strictly money. All the things I have in my life is because of that. And the food of what my food business has brought me today is like, the most beautiful journey I've ever been a part in. I'm at the happiest part of my life doing dope shit every day.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, to find happiness doing what you love.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about.
For sure.
And so one thing I want to say is thank you. Let everybody know what your next moves, where they can find. I mean, you're the most viral dude ever. I mean, I want to be like the traditional podcast. Tell them your ads. Do whatever you want, bro. Talk some shit.
Listen, 303 in the cut. We're a Las Vegas late night food truck. Okay. You can mess around, find out, and see what's up. We're opening our second location. I'm super excited. I appreciate the support. I appreciate y'all having me out. And listen, if you listen to this, if you watching this, like dream big, believe in yourself, work towards your goal every day, and you'll get to be wherever you want to be. All right.
Now you heard her here. My boy Guiliano is my good friend. And this is the Rich Off Food Podcast. Make sure you follow. We'll be interviewing food bosses, restaurant owners, food truck owners. Like, subscribe, whatever you do on YouTube. We out.